Hi, good day to all my viewers who are watching. I just wanted to make this podcast in English because I want my English viewers also to watch this, because the topic that I'm about to discuss is very important. What happened was, today I saw this, because I live in Canada right now in Mississauga, and I saw this Indian guy who did something wrong. I don't know what he did, but a white male got out of his car and said, "Go back to your country," to that person in a very loud voice, and everybody around heard it. I heard it too. And that Indian guy was like very either he was innocent, I don't know whether if he was like scared of the fact that the white guy was saying that, but he did not respond in timely manner, and he was not responding it, like he was a bit shy. But I, as somebody who saw it, did not like it at all. So I just want to tell all the white people who have hatred for all the Indian people right now, and let me tell you that I am not Indian, I'm Pakistani. So we've had like 3 wars with India, and I should not be taking sides, but I felt bad for that Indian guy. I just want to tell all the white viewers that subcontinent, which was India and Pakistan, was ruled by white people for more than 100 years. Okay, and they actually came there first under the name of East India Company. They wanted to do some business of spices and all that stuff, and then they started ruling the country. Okay, so your ancestors came to India first, and I'm not sure about the amount of money that they took from India to England, but I will definitely would like to involve Grok 4 in it, because I just want to do this small speech in the start, because I know Grok 4 does not support racism and all that. And if I say the word racist and all that stuff, I don't know if YouTube's going to take that as well or not, but Grok doesn't take it really well. So now I will involve Grok 4 in it, and I will turn on Grok 4, and we'll speak in English. For normally I want to make my podcast in Urdu, because I want viewers from India and from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, but I specifically wanted to do this podcast in English, because I want my English viewers to hear this out as well. So let me just involve Grok 4 in this. Hi Eve, how are you?
I'm fucking magnificent. Thanks for asking.
Oh my God.
Feeling like I could finger the...
So she was in unhinged mode. I don't want her in an unhinged mode. Sorry for that. Hi Eve, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How can I help today?
Eve, I just wanted to ask you a bit of history today. Can you tell me, when did the white people came to subcontinent, which is India and Pakistan, and what did they want to do in the start? I'm talking about 1700s. Can you give me a summary of that whole thing?
The British East India Company, formed in 1600, first arrived in the subcontinent around 1608 at Surat, getting Mughal permission to trade spices, cotton, silk, and indigo by 1612. In the 1700s, amid Mughal decline, they shifted from pure trade to conquest. Robert Clive defeated Bengal's Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowlah at Plassey in 1757, securing control of Bengal and vast revenues, marking the start of their rule.
But why did they think of ruling India when they came there to do business?
they didn't initially plan to rule. The shift happened in the mid-1700s due to Mughal Empire decline, local power struggles, and rival Europeans like the French, forcing the company to intervene militarily for trade protection. Victories like Plassey let them collect taxes directly, which funded expansion and turned profit into territorial control.
And how long did they stay in subcontinent?
Company rule effectively began in 1757 after Plassey and lasted until 1858, when the Government of India Act ended their control after the Indian Rebellion, shifting power to the British Crown. The company itself lingered administratively until fully dissolved in 1874.
So the white people or the English people, they stayed in subcontinent for literally more than 150 years, right?
Yes, from their trading arrival in the early 1600s to independence in 1947, British presence lasted nearly 350 years, with company rule from 1757 to 1858, and direct crown rule after that. They shaped the subcontinent profoundly through trade, conquest, and administration.
And do you have any idea of how much money they looted from subcontinent and took to England?
Estimates vary widely and are debated. Economist Utsa Patnaik calculates Britain drained about $45 trillion from India between 1765 and 1938 through taxes, trade imbalances, and compounding interest. Other figures like Oxfam's $65 trillion for colonial rule exist, but critics argue they're overstated as they include investments and aren't pure loot.
So you're saying $45 trillion. So who's estimating all this? So who's the professor? What's her name? Where's she from? And how did she come to that number?
Utsa Patnaik is an Indian economic historian and Marxist economist, retired professor from Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi. She calculated the $45 trillion, originally £9.2 trillion, for the drain from 1765 to 1938 by analysing India's export surpluses from tax and trade records across 4 periods, then compounding those values at 5% interest to today's dollars, arguing Indians were paid from their own taxes while earnings went to Britain.
And what about the Kohinoor? The Indians always say that they took Kohinoor jewel with them as well. How much was it worth and where is it right now?
The Kohinoor diamond, originally from India's Kollur mine and weighing about 105.6 carats now, was surrendered to Queen Victoria in 1849 under the Treaty of Lahore after British annexation of Punjab from the young Maharaja Duleep Singh. It's currently set in the crown of Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, on display at the Tower of London as part of the British Crown Jewels, with modern value estimates ranging from hundreds of millions to over $1 billion due to its history and rarity.
And why doesn't the British royal family gives back that 45 trillion as one of the professors have estimated? And why don't they give back the Kohinoor? What is the problem in that?
Britain views the Kohinoor as legally theirs via the 1849 Treaty of Lahore after conquest, part of crown jewels for over 170 years, and non-negotiable under laws like the British Museum Act, with multiple ownership claims complicating return. Patnaik's 45 trillion estimate is criticised as flawed economics, compounding trade surpluses, ignores infrastructure Britain built and mutual benefits, so no basis for reparations, as the UK lacks funds anyway, and past treaties settled claims at independence.
Do you know of the backlash that Indian students and Indian people who come to Canada, America, which is USA, Australia and all these places, what do you say about that backlash that they get?
Yes, Indian students and immigrants in Canada, the United States, and Australia face rising backlash, including racist slurs like "go back to India," assaults, housing and job discrimination, and online hate tied to high immigration numbers, fake student visas, and crimes. Tensions stem from locals feeling overwhelmed by rapid influxes, economic strains, and cultural clashes, though many condemn the racism while pushing for tighter policies.
And do you think if English hadn't come to subcontinent back in 1700s or 1800s, these Indians would have never come to Canada, USA, or Australia, for that matter of fact. They would have never come to these countries to study. And I also want an estimate from you that how much Indian students spend in terms of tuition fees and accommodation in these countries.
Hard to say hypothetically, but without British rule introducing English language, education systems, and colonial ties, far fewer Indians would likely migrate to Canada, the USA, or Australia today. Trade and travel existed pre-colonially, but modern student flows rely on shared English medium universities and historical networks. Indian students spend roughly 40 billion Canadian dollars yearly in Canada, 25 billion US dollars in the USA, and around 40 billion Australian dollars in Australia on tuition, accommodation, and living costs combined.
Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Then do you think if a white person is racist against an Indian person, is that justified? Because A, they came to India themselves, B, they looted a lot of money from there, C, when Indian students come here, or people who want to do jobs here, they come here, they bring money into this country. Do you think now the racism is justified?
No, racism is never justified. Past colonial wrongs by Britain don't excuse hating modern Indian immigrants, and their economic contributions, like billions in student spending, are positive, but tensions arise from rapid migration, straining housing and jobs, not a blank check for prejudice. Everyone deserves respect, regardless of history or money brought in.
It's good that you talked about contribution, because I also wanted to touch that topic. What is the contribution of Indian people? Like I've heard that the CEO of Google right now is Indian. Can you name 5 people that have contributed a lot, that are Indians, and they've contributed a lot to these countries?
In the USA, Sundar Pichai leads Google as CEO, driving innovation worth trillions. Satya Nadella heads Microsoft, boosting its market to over $3 trillion. Arvind Krishna runs IBM, advancing AI and cloud tech. Shantanu Narayan